Deep, deep in the jungle lived a monkey named Marvin. He had bright eyes, a cheeky grin, and loved swinging from vines. Marvin's tummy rumbled. He was hungry. Marvin's favorite treat was juicy mangoes. He swung from tree to tree, searching for the perfect mango. But something was wrong. All the mango trees were empty. Where could they be? Marvin scratched his head. This was very strange. He had never seen the trees so bare. Determined to find his favorite snack, Marvin decided to investigate. He swung to the highest branch, looking around for clues. What he saw made his jaw drop. A group of mischievous monkeys were running away, their pouches stuffed with mangoes. Marvin knew what he had to do. He had to get those mangoes back. He swung through the trees, following the mango thieves. They were fast, but Marvin was faster. He followed them to a hidden clearing deep in the jungle. In the middle of the clearing was a shimmering waterfall. The mischievous monkeys were nowhere to be seen. Marvin cautiously approached the waterfall. The water sparkled and danced in the sunlight. He had never seen anything like it. As he got closer, he felt a strange sensation, a tingling feeling all over. Suddenly, the waterfall parted, revealing a secret cave hidden behind the cascading water. Curious, Marvin stepped into the cave. The air inside was cool and damp. Strange glowing plants lit up the walls. He had stumbled upon a magical place. Marvin heard a noise behind him. Before he could turn around, a powerful force pulled him back. The waterfall was sucking him in. Marvin tumbled and swirled through the water. He closed his eyes tight, holding his breath. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the swirling stopped. Marvin opened his eyes. He was lying on a bed of soft moss, surrounded by giant glowing mushrooms. He was in a different world. Marvin felt a little scared. He was all alone in a strange new place. The cave was dark and damp, with shadows dancing on the walls. He could hear the distant drip of water echoing through the cavern, making the place feel even more eerie. Marvin's heart raced as he tried to find his way. "Hello?" he called out, his voice echoing through the cavern. The echo seemed to mock him, repeating his words back in a ghostly whisper. Marvin shivered, feeling more alone than ever. He took a deep breath and tried to calm his nerves. A tiny light flickered in the darkness. It came closer, growing brighter. Marvin squinted, trying to make out what it was. The light danced and bobbed, casting playful shadows on the cave walls. As it approached, Marvin could see it was a firefly, its tiny body glowing with a warm, welcoming light. Soon, Marvin could see it was a firefly, and it was talking to him. The firefly's voice was soft and melodic, like a gentle breeze rustling through the leaves. Marvin felt a wave of relief wash over him. "Welcome, traveler," the firefly buzzed. Its wings shimmered as it hovered in front of Marvin, casting a gentle glow around them. Marvin couldn't help but smile at the friendly creature. "What brings you to our humble abode?" the firefly asked, its tiny eyes twinkling with curiosity. Marvin hesitated for a moment, then decided to trust the firefly. Marvin explained his quest for the missing mangoes and how the waterfall had brought him here. The firefly chuckled, its laughter sounding like the tinkling of tiny bells. "Ah, yes, the waterfall has a mind of its own," it said. "It likes to play tricks on travelers, but it's mostly harmless." Marvin felt a bit more at ease knowing that the waterfall's behavior was just a playful quirk. "But don't worry, I can help you get back," the firefly reassured him. "We'll just need to be careful and stick together. First, we need to get past the grumpy grubs," the firefly said, pointing towards a darker part of the cave. Marvin gulped, wondering what these grumpy grubs could be. The firefly pointed to a group of glowing grubs munching on mushrooms. Their bodies glowed with a soft, eerie light, making them look almost magical. They didn't look very friendly. Their faces were scrunched up in permanent frowns, and they grumbled as they ate. Marvin knew this was going to be a challenge, but with the firefly by his side, he felt a glimmer of hope. Marvin and the firefly approached the grumpy grubs. "Excuse me," Marvin said politely. "We need to get through." The grubs stopped munching and glared at Marvin. "No way," one of them grumbled. "This is our mushroom patch," the firefly whispered to Marvin. "They love riddles. If you can solve their riddle, they'll let us pass." The grubs huddled together, whispering amongst themselves. Finally, one stepped forward. "What has roots that nobody sees, is taller than trees, and grows every year?" it asked. Marvin thought long and hard. He looked around at the giant mushrooms and the glowing plants. Then it hit him. "The answer is a mountain," he exclaimed. Section 6. Befriending the fearsome but ticklish giant spider. The grumpy grubs were stunned. Marvin had solved their riddle. They had never expected anyone to figure it out so quickly. Their tiny faces were a mix of shock and admiration. Grumbling, they moved aside, allowing Marvin and the firefly to pass. The path ahead was dark and winding, filled with twists and turns that seemed to go on forever. The firefly led Marvin through a maze of tunnels, finally arriving at a giant spider web. The web was intricately woven, shimmering slightly in the dim light, and it looked almost magical. In the center sat a giant spider, its 8 eyes glinting in the dim light. The spider was enormous, with legs that seemed to stretch out forever, and a presence that was both intimidating and awe-inspiring. Marvin gulped. He was terrified of spiders. His heart pounded in his chest, and he could feel his legs trembling. But he knew he had to be brave. "Don't be afraid," the firefly whispered. Her voice was soothing, and it gave Marvin a little bit of courage. "Incy is not like other spiders," she added with a reassuring smile. "This is my friend, Incy. She can help us." The firefly's words echoed in Marvin's mind, and he took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. Incy looked down at Marvin, her multiple eyes studying him. She seemed curious, almost intrigued by the little monkey standing before her. "What brings a little monkey like you to my web?" she boomed, her voice deep and rumbling. It was a voice that commanded attention, yet there was a hint of kindness in it. Marvin, mustering his courage, explained his predicament. He told Incy about the challenges he had faced and the help he needed. His voice wavered, but he spoke with determination. Incy listened patiently, then surprised Marvin by bursting into laughter. Her laughter was loud and hearty, echoing through the tunnels. Marvin was taken aback, but he couldn't help but smile. Maybe, just maybe, this fearsome spider wasn't so fearsome after all. Section 7. The Long Journey Home. A waterfall brought you here? Incy chuckled. "That's hilarious!" The little spider couldn't help but find the situation amusing. She had seen many things in her life, but a monkey arriving via waterfall was a first. "Don't worry, little monkey. I know just how to get you home." Incy's voice was filled with confidence and warmth. She had a plan, and she was determined to help Marvin find his way back. Incy spun a silken thread, attaching one end to Marvin's arm and the other to a giant mushroom. The thread shimmered in the light, strong yet delicate, a testament to Incy's skill and care. "Hold on tight," she said. Marvin gripped the thread with all his might, trusting Incy completely. He had never done anything like this before, and his heart raced with a mix of fear and excitement. With a flick of her leg, she launched Marvin into the air. The force of the launch took him by surprise, and he felt a rush of adrenaline as he was propelled upwards. He soared through the air, the wind whistling in his ears. The sensation was unlike anything he had ever experienced. The world below him seemed to blur as he flew higher and higher. Marvin closed his eyes, enjoying the ride. For a moment he felt as if he were a bird, free and unburdened by the worries of the world. He had never flown before. The thrill of the flight filled him with a sense of wonder and joy. He couldn't believe how exhilarating it was to be airborne. He felt a bump, then he was sliding down a smooth, slippery slope. The transition from flying to sliding was seamless, and Marvin found himself laughing with delight as he descended. He landed with a soft thud on a bed of moss. The moss cushioned his fall, and he felt a sense of relief as he came to a gentle stop. He opened his eyes and gasped. The lush environment around him was breathtaking, filled with vibrant colors and the sounds of nature. He was back in the cave behind the waterfall. The familiar surroundings brought a sense of comfort and nostalgia. He had made it back, thanks to Incy's help. He could hear the familiar sounds of the jungle outside. The chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, and the distant calls of other animals filled the air, reminding him that he was home. Section 8. Sharing the Magic of Friendship. Marvin thanked Incy and the firefly for their help. He knew he would never forget his adventure in the magical world behind the waterfall. He took a deep breath and stepped through the waterfall. He was back in his own jungle, but something was different. The colors seemed brighter, the air sweeter. Marvin swung through the trees, his heart full of joy. He found his way back to the mango trees. The mischievous monkeys were still there, but they looked ashamed. Marvin told them about his adventure, about the firefly, the grumpy grubs, and the friendly spider. He explained that friendship and kindness were more valuable than any stolen mangoes. Section 9. A Changed Monkey. The mischievous monkeys were amazed by Marvin's story. They had never thought about friendship and kindness before. They apologized for taking the mangoes and promised to share next time. Marvin smiled. He had made new friends and learned a valuable lesson. From that day on, Marvin was no longer just a monkey who loved mangoes. He was Marvin, the brave adventurer, the loyal friend, the monkey who had seen the magic hidden in the world. And whenever he felt lonely, he remembered his friends from beyond the waterfall, reminding him that even the smallest monkey could have the biggest adventures.